when we say I'm a designer, it could be so many things. But how do you explain it?
Yeah, sure. I think that when I used to be a graphic designer, it was easier. We just bought, leaflets, brochures. But now that I am a product designer, it's just too complicated.
Hi, Sara. Welcome to the Bravo Studio channel. We are extremely happy to have you here. We've had you talk about Bravo a few times in the past, which we love and our audience love as well. So we wanted to learn more about you and who is Sara. So please feel free to give a brief description about yourself, and then we get started with all the questions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for having me here today. So my name is Sara, and I'm a product designer based in Brighton, UK, and I'm currently in Italy. That's where my accent comes from and where my family lives. Previously, I was a graphic designer, and now I got a new job, which is really exciting. I'm joining a new company next month. I'm still gonna be working as a product designer, but also I have some side projects alongside my full time. I actually have a YouTube channel where I talk about design, creativity, and career. And I also vlog on Instagram, and yeah, I have quite a few side projects that I want to start this year, including a course, an interactive course.
Awesome.
And that's me.
That sounds really, really exciting. So let's get to some more details on all what you have said. And I have a list of questions we wish to learn more about. So let's get started. So is Sara a Figma or Adobe XD designer?
Yeah, I really like this question because at my previous company, I've been using XD, which is not my favorite. I will say 100% Figma because it's just better for collaboration, and anyone can sign up for free, and we also have tons of free resources, a great community. So I think Figma will always be my preference for now.
Awesome. It was actually my preference too, not because I use it for Bravo, but it was definitely really easy to get started compared to Adobe XD, which is also a great tool. But it seems more inviting, I would say, to start as a design tool to start with Figma. Completely different random questions. Are you a morning running or evening person? If you run.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do run quite a lot. I ran a marathon back in 2019, I think, and I'm going to run a half marathon this year at some point, whenever it's possible. So yeah, that's the right question for me. I love running, and yeah, I run a lot.
Awesome.
I usually run in the morning because I consider myself a morning person. Like now that I can work from home, I can easily wake up at 6:30, go for a run, and I'm also lucky because I live near the Brighton seafront, so I can run along the sea, which is really nice. I usually go in the morning because if I will go in the afternoon, we'll find 100 excuses not to do it, and it just puts me in a better mood in the morning. Yeah,
a good way to get started the day.
Yeah.
Now, working with clients, because you do have side projects as well, what's the worst thing a client can do to you, or maybe that you have experienced?
Yeah, sure. Well, I forgot to mention earlier, but I've been freelancing for quite a while. Now I do less freelance work because I'm doing more content creation. But my answer will be disappear, because I had a few clients just disappearing from one day to another. And I think that's the worst thing that they can do. Just, if you want to stop doing it, that's fine. Just tell me, this is too expensive. This is not going as I wanted to. But disappear is just really frustrating. And it happened to me a few times.
Yeah, that's totally true. At least to communicate, and definitely better to talk things other than disappear. Because we move ourselves in the space of mobile apps, we like to ask this question, and especially when it comes to designers. What's the ugliest app you have on your phone?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure about it. It's the Brighton Bus app. They did the rebrand. They changed it 3 times since I moved to the UK 5 years ago, and the last update was completely different from what I was used to. The previous one, I didn't really like it, but the new one is just I don't know how to use it. I every time I have to book a ticket, I ask my boyfriend because it's just really difficult to use. They change everything from scratch. But yeah.
Oh, too bad. Maybe we will take a look later and maybe do a redesign with Bravo and send it to them and give some suggestions. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's a very complicated app because it does a lot of things. But yeah, it's just really overwhelming. It would be amazing to do it.
Well, it's good information to give them coming from a designer like yourself. Definitely they have to work on it. When it comes to recommending a good design book to someone that perhaps is starting or is looking to some summer reading, which one would you recommend?
Yeah, sure. Well, in the past I read a lot of books from A Book Apart, which is an amazing collection of books for any sorts of designers. The last one I read was Made to Stick, which is not exactly a design book, but I think it is because it tells the importance. It tells you why some ideas stick and others die, and I think it's really important to any sorts of designers. Like simplicity, like unexplained, concrete, credible, emotional stories. They're all like important things that our message have to have. So yeah, I would recommend Made to Stick.
Awesome. We will add in the description the details of the book if someone wants to look for it as well for this summer. How often do you update your portfolio?
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I would recommend updating it anytime you have a new case study. I don't do it very often, maybe like once a year, which is a shame. I know I should be doing more often, but I don't do it only because I'm not always allowed to create a case study for all the projects I work on, because I used to work at a quite big company. But my suggestion will be to just, you have a new case study, update your portfolio and try to do it as much as possible, but at the same time, don't waste too much time tweaking it. Just, focus on the work. It doesn't have to be pretty.
Nice. Good advice there. What client would you reject automatically?
Yeah, so I think a client that wants something cheaper and quick. A client that doesn't value, like design and the quality of my work. In the past, like when I started off, I would have taken any, kind of like clients because I didn't have any. I started from zero, but now I can afford to be more picky. Mm-hmm. So if you want something cheap and easy, they can, I'll send them the link of the Fiverr website. But if you want, like quality, yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm not a designer, but I get to learn more about all the behind the scenes works in terms of researching, investigating, and just brainstorming, other than just the final work they might think is done in 5 minutes. But it does have a lot of thought behind it. So yeah, I totally agree that there needs to be more appreciation in the work, and that it actually involves a lot of creativity and inspiration when it comes to design work. So it's not just that you press a button and then it's done. So definitely. Yeah. If you have an unlimited budget, what project would you work on?
Yeah, sure. I would say an app, because I've always been working on websites when I was freelancing. I would love to design an app from scratch, from the research, the concept, all the way to the visual identity, and even maybe build it. myself, and I would love to do it on the Happy Cow app, which is a website, sort of like app that for vegans to find restaurants in their area when they go on vacation as well. Yes, so my choice would be an app.
I became vegan almost 2 years ago, and
cool.
and I had some hard time finding some good app about it. I did find Happy Cow, but I was not loving the user experience. It's way too populated, and I thought maybe I should do something a little bit more curated. But yeah, well, maybe we will talk about that project, and let's see if we can do it together. I would love to be part of that. But yeah. It's interesting. At least in Spain, where we're based, there is more and more options, which is great. So anyway, we're not gonna promote veganism right now, but it's really great and interesting. Super cool project. If you had to choose one social media to use for the rest of your life and forget about the rest, which one would you stick to?
Yeah, I would say YouTube, because it's considered a social media. Maybe we don't always consider YouTube as a social media because it's not very active, it's more like passive. But yeah, I love long, like this type of content, like 10-15 minutes videos, rather than fast content like you can find on TikTok or Instagram. My choice will be YouTube, and I'm on YouTube pretty much every day for any sorts of videos, not just about design. But I'm also guilty because I use Instagram and Twitter quite often, but I know that I can live without them.
Awesome. Definitely YouTube. It's a lifesaver, I would say, to find pretty much anything. And we love your channel, of course. So definitely inviting everyone to check it out. How do you get to explain your friends or family what you do? Because when we say I'm a designer, it could be so many things. But how do you explain it?
Yeah, sure. I think that when I used to be a graphic designer, it was easier. We just bought, leaflets, brochures. But now that I am a product designer, it's just too complicated. And if I think about, like my parents or my non-designer friends, they have no clue of what I do. Some of them think I design clothes or like products, in such like physical products, or even houses, which is really scary. So the way I will do it, I will pick an app they like, maybe like Instagram, where my mom likes a lot, and I will ask her, like, do you know why this bottom is here? Or can you read the text well? Or how did you learn how to share this picture? And I will say my job is to design these things because we are not there like magically with no reason. Someone has to design them and improve them. So I would like to use like a physical app to show them what I do. But I know that it's not very inclusive because it doesn't explain, all the things that I do, like research, data analysis, even like development, handover. So, but yeah, I think this sort of like explains what I do a little.
I think that example of using an actual app that they use a lot, and the fact that the moment they install it without having used it before, they already know how to use it. And I think that's what the product designer actually did in this case. Good example. When did you decide actually to shift and actually say or become a product designer?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I also mentor designers, and sometimes they come to me saying, I want to become a UX, UI or product designer. I don't know why. It just sounds cool. For me, it was actually the opposite because it just happened organically. I never planned to become a UX product designer, but I got my first job back in July 2019, and it was also my only product design role so far. And it happened in a way that basically, like, I was made redundant back in 2018, and I found myself unemployed for a few months. So I started freelancing as a graphic designer. I wanted to become a print designer, design packagings. I didn't like web in general, but yeah, anyway. The only clients I found, they asked me to design their websites, or I ended up in a co-working space full of developers, so they often wanted designers to design for their clients. So I started to design websites really, and from that moment, I knew just a little about user experience, user interface, but then I started to research, and honestly, like before then, I had no clue of like UI UX designers, but I didn't even think they existed. So it happened like in just a few months. I came across this UI UX product thing, and yeah, it was really interesting for me. I just started to read a lot, I thought it was the sort of job I always wanted to do, because I like to do more than just designing something pretty. And so after working after freelancing for a few months, I decided to look for a full-time job as a UX UI product designer. And yeah, I found my employer, where I stayed for 2 years. Yeah.
Nice story. Which, when it comes to the no-code space, because it's something still fairly new, how does it impact your professional daily life?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think most people think that no-code tools are just, like Webflow, Squarespace, Zapier, or Shopify. But I think that all the tools that don't require us to code are can be classified as no-code tools. So even like Figma, I think, is a no-code tool. But the one I use the most for my side projects are for sure Webflow, Airtable, Taskade to manage my to-dos, Canvas, and Bravo. And I'm actually going to design and build my next app soon. Yeah, these are the one I use the most.
Awesome. Yeah, some tools like, for example, Airtable have really changed a lot of people's life, I think, and it's just, again, taking the visual aspects out of working makes it really easy, or even Notion as well, and of course tools that allow you to collaborate with others really easy. Awesome. What is something you wish to have started sooner as a designer?
Yeah, that's a great question. Work on my side of my soft skills, like communication, collaboration, management, and problem solving as well. And I think it's something that I didn't do early on in my career, where when I work as a graphic designer, I was just in charge to make the thing look pretty. I didn't even write emails or communicate with my team sometimes. Just do this and that's fine. Just send over once it's ready. I never developed this like communication, collaboration, and all these soft skills, which is a real shame.
Yes. Yeah, I think for everyone still had to be something to improve, especially that moment that we suddenly had to go and start working remotely. And even if before we were sharing an office where communication was already perhaps not great for everyone, now it's even more difficult, and they have to improve even harder now to make sure that everyone is on the same page and everyone's happy. And perhaps one problem I actually discover is that it's very difficult to express your feelings if it's just Slack communications or emails, and feel what the other person is feeling when you tell them things. So definitely it's a soft skill that really needs constant improvement, I would say, definitely. What is the biggest mistake you remember doing as a designer?
Yeah, so my biggest mistake was to stay at the same company for way too long, even when I knew it was time to change, when I saw the red flags. like I can remember, like I've been at this, I did this internship in Milan a few years ago. It was a 3 months internship that ended up in being like over a year because they didn't want to employ me, give me the full-time position. I wasn't happy with the job, but I was too afraid or scared to change because I was used to a company. We were like a small team, and even in my like last job, honestly, I think I should have left before, but I was also looking for the right opportunity. So that's the biggest mistake I've always made, like I made early on in my career. So I always recommend people to, like when you see these red flags, maybe start looking around.
Definitely.
It's never a bad idea.
Definitely. Otherwise, you will be stuck for a while and then miss other better opportunities on the way.
Yeah.
If you weren't a designer, what would you be today? Or did you always knew you wanted to be a designer? Perhaps that's the case.
Yeah, that's a very funny question because I got this asked during a job interview a few months ago. They asked me the same question, and maybe I didn't get the job because I answered I wanted to be a dietitian because I'm always been interested in food, nutrients, maybe also because I'm vegan. But yeah, for me, like even designing is very similar to creating a diet plan because you have a problem to solve and hundreds of ways you can tackle it, and you have to use your knowledge and creativity to solve the challenge. So maybe I would be a beautician if I wasn't if I wasn't a designer.
Awesome.
A beautician. A dietitian. I don't know why I say
okay.
Beautician. No, beautician.
Well, it's related somehow.
No. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. At least not maybe not visually, but on how someone feels, and that's really why I changed to veganism. Or at first I tried is to see if I would feel even better, and as I do a lot of sports, I wanted to perform better, and it's been great experience so far. So I'm not thinking of going back to eating meat. But anyway, let's see.
Yeah.
Now going back to your social media channels, and a lot of people are pushing to do more and more content on YouTube, as this is the one you would stick to. What would you recommend people to do on how to grow their own social media?
Yeah, sure. So I think there are different ways to look at it because for some people, growing means having more followers or subscribers. But for me, growing is also, personal growth or connecting with other people at in more meaningful ways, like having, one-on-one conversations with my audience. But yeah, if you want to grow the number of followers, subscribers, or whatever, the best way to do it is to be regular and consistent with uploading content, and most importantly, to spend a lot of time on the platform. Because even with Instagram, I know that I could, like have more followers if I was spending more time, but I decided not to. So for me, a good advice is to just not look at the numbers, but look at the quality of your comments. Because at the end of the day, for me, it's more important to have, like a nice positive comment on a video than 3,000 that I wouldn't even be able to read because it's just like too overwhelming. And I think that sometimes keeping it small is better.
Yep, definitely. I think growing the community and being engaged with the content, I think is the most important. Absolutely agree on that. Sara, I have no more questions. It was a real pleasure to have you in our channel. We really look forward to seeing those side projects coming alive, like the new Happy Cow perhaps, or your idea when you want to share more details on those apps that you have in mind. Is there anything else that you wish to add before we go?
That's fine. Just thanks for watching, listening. If you want to connect with me, you can find me on YouTube. I'm Sara Brunettini. I know that my surname is difficult to translate, but maybe you can add.
Yeah, definitely we will add all the details and links to your channels in the description below. And for everyone, if you like this video and you like this type of content, like the video, follow us on YouTube, and we will be back soon with a lot of new content. Thank you so much, Sara. See you soon. Ciao.
Nice. Thanks to you. Bye. Ciao.